got questions? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey Biaggio,
How's it
great
going?
win tonight. This is Chris Trafford from Combat Sports UK. You have fighting in your genes. Your grandfather Muhammad headlined Madison Square Garden. Your aunt is boxer Layla Ali, and your brother Nico is a professional boxer. But why did you choose MMA as opposed to boxing like the rest of your family?
You know, MMA just kind of fell into my lap. When I was done playing college football, I was, very depressed. I was lost. I was sad. I didn't know if I had any purpose. I was just confused. As most athletes would be when they're done playing a sport they played for so long. And my friend was training at Extreme Couture. He told me to, come to Extreme Couture and check it out. And I went, because I didn't want to get fat. I wanted to stay in shape and learn some martial arts. That's pretty cool, right? So I ended up just falling in love with that, and I just was getting better and better. And I told my coach Dennis, I said, hey, is it cool if I try out for the amateur team? Started training with the amateur team, and a couple weeks later, I told him, I want to do this for real. And I think he was kind of expecting that, but yeah, that's kind of how I got into MMA. But yeah.
How was this experience this week? I know there was pressure. Was the pressure as much as you thought it would be? Going through a whole fight week with all the championship going on and all this media.
100%. Just because of who I'm related to, there's gonna always be that pressure. It's never gonna be gone. It's always gonna be there. It's how I deal with the pressure that matters most. And dealing with the pressure too is kind of just normalizing things. I tell myself, I'm fighting at Madison Square Garden, but if I was fighting anywhere else, it's still a fight. I like to normalize things in order for me to deal with that pressure. And when people ask questions like what you just did, and answering them is telling myself, it's just a fight. I don't care where it's at. This guy, whether there's people there or not, I still got someone that's trying to hurt me. So in order to deal with those pressures, I just tell myself that, and that's how I deal with it usually.
Biaggio, Anik Subramanian, Fightbook MMA. Congratulations on a great performance.
Thank you.
Now you look very crisp in your striking. Now what discipline in MMA are you most comfortable with? With striking, wrestling, grappling?
I like to stand and strike. It's kind of natural for me to just stand and bang. But this past camp, I've been really trying to do more grappling. I had this thing going on with my toe where the toenail got stuck in between the mat and it lifted the nail. So I had to cut like half the nail off, and then I was battling through that toe injury, and it's kind of hard to grapple when you have half a toenail. So I got it removed, and it started healing up, and then when it was starting to heal up a little bit more, I was grappling a lot more and doing more gi jiu-jitsu. I started to really fall in love with gi jiu-jitsu. So I do like to stand and bang. People like to watch that too, but I'm with whatever. We're not boxing. We're in MMA. Whether it's striking, wrestling, or jiu-jitsu, I'm here to fight.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You just talked about how at one point you were in a dark space in your life at football. How were you able to get out of that moment where you were to where you are right now?
It wasn't a overnight thing. It took some time. After football, I just kind of was training a little bit, at the gym, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, something that I loved. I tried to get into real estate. I'm like, oh, real estate, they make a lot of money. And I'm like, maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll love that. Didn't really love it. I never got to the exam. And then I was like, oh, well, I still want to be associated with sports and athleticism. So why not be, an assistant strength and conditioning coach? So I was doing that at this place called the Institute in Las Vegas. I was an assistant strength and conditioning coach as an intern. And a lot of the guys I was working with were some of the fighters at my gym, like Jeremy Kennedy, Pooney, Kai Kamaka, his brother Tristan. And I just remember standing there and thinking to myself, I'm 22 years old, why am I a coach? I'm still young, I can still compete, I can still be the athlete, I miss being the athlete. So I said, you know what, life's short. I don't want to be 35, 40 years old and think, would I have been a good fighter? I don't want to have those kind of questions, and live in that regret. So I said, you know what, I'm going to just take advantage of this one life that we have and live it to the fullest and take this MMA stuff serious.
Yo, what's up, Biaggio? Congrats on the win. What can you say about Coach Eric Nixig, Coach Dennis, Jason Manley, and the support system you have at XC? And do you feel like you found a home at Extreme Couture?
I for sure found a home at Extreme Couture. You know, some fighters, they jump gyms and stuff. I will always be at Extreme Couture. You know, the first day I met Coach Dennis, you know, he was very welcoming, and same with Eric. You know, these are guys that I look up to. You know, at the end of my career, I want to be just like these guys. You know, they're badass dudes. You know, they preach and teach martial arts, and I believe that martial arts kind of saved me from a bad lifestyle. You know, it kind of saved my life in a way. So, yeah, these are guys that I look up to. They're like older brother figures and even father figures to me.
I was hanging out with Nicholas Mota and Mads Burnell today, two guys you sparred with extensively the last couple weeks. Nicholas Mota wanted me to ask you, how did it feel, how did it affect you when Mads Burnell rubbed some of that sweet sweat on your back?
It was Abilene, but I didn't even think about it. I was just being tortured because I was cutting weight. But yeah, Nicholas and Mads, those guys, they're like older brothers to me. I look up to them. I even watched Nicholas's last fight because the guy he was fighting was also 6'2", and he knocked him out with a hook. So I was watching his old fight and just kind of picking stuff from him. And yeah, those are my boys for life.
Anything else, guys? About time.
Yeah, right here. So, Malcolm, from muscle memory, how important was it for you to win tonight, being in the arena that your grandfather obviously competed in?
It was super important. You know, my grandfather fought here. My aunt fought here. My brother fought here twice. Once in the Hulu Theater. I was actually here like a month ago for his fight. So it was super important to get the win. That was the only thing I really focused on, and I visualized and I meditated a lot leading up to this fight. I prayed a lot leading up to this fight. So after I got the win, it was almost like I wasn't surprised because in my head I was here 50 times, you know?
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. By the way, he also goes to the greatest university in the world, UNLV.
You know,
That's one of the